Claire from Created the Ottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up in the UK. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the time. I try and do a weekly video, usually with something from Stampin' Up, as I'm a demonstrator for them, and their products are just simply second to none. We are using today some Regency Park paper. If you've got one of these brochures, you can turn to page 31 and it gives you a really nice snapshot of some of the papers. Now they are double-sided, so you've got loads of choice there. They look even better in person. Lots of different florals, sizes, big and small on there. And then if you flip them over, you can see the colours on the other side are equally as lovely. So it's really hard to choose which papers to play with, but I've managed it somehow. Let me show you the make that we're making today. It is a triple panel card. I can't think what else to call it really. Lovely and decorated on the outside, but very simply with one piece of designer series paper. This is actually some of the celebration paper, which is sadly gone. But if, like me, you've got some in your stash, don't let it gather dust. Get it out and cut it up. The dies that I've used are from the Sentimental Park set, which are still current. It's a lovely stamp set with different fonts in it and some very pretty flowers. So I've die cut this and added some of the flowers to the top. Just really simple flowers, nothing too fancy. And in the inside of the card, if I open it, ready? Ta-da! So again, really easy to do. Very simple, but a real nice wow on the inside. Now I've used one of the dies from the Sentimental Park die set and it exactly matches the panel. That was a fluke. I'd like to say that I measured everything and made sure that it fit. It was an absolute fluke, so I'm really pleased with that. These two panels I've just covered in designer series paper, and these I've done in a different paper, just to make it really stand out, the middle section. But you can decorate it how you like. I'm going to show you how to make the card and then you go off and make your own design. That's what I like to do. For me, I love being a demonstrator and teaching other people how to make wow cards or just simple cards that they're just really amazed that they've been able to make. So what do we need? Let's get the sizes for you. So we need a card base that is 8 2/8 by 5 7/8. It sounds really complicated, but it's just a basic card size. The inside card is almost the same size, so we're just going to put another card inside of it, but we're going to do some scoring on it to do the panels. And then you need 3 pieces of card to do the panels that look like they flip, but they're just opening out, and then some designer series paper. Now I like to have mine about an 1/8 of an inch smaller than the card, just so it's got a nice frame round. Some people like to have 1/4 of an inch frame. You just make it your own. This is your project. I'm just giving you the ideas and the how-to, and then you just make it your own. If you love Stampin' Up like me, you can shop with me online at createdtheottaway.co.uk. That would really help me as well, because I'd love to stay as a demonstrator. Okay, so I've got some white card, an A4 sheet, and I'm going to cut it at 8 2/8 by 5 7/8. So I already know that this is way too big, so I'm going to open it out this way. Okay, actually let's do it 5 7/8. So if I do 2, I'll do 5 7/8. Okay, make sure you've got your cutter, not your scorer. So I've on the long side cut it at 5 7/8, and I'm just going to check this size along the top, and that should be 8 2/8. So that's that done. I'm just going to score it on the long side now. So we've got the 8 2/8 at the top. I'm going to score that at 4 1/8, just so that that makes my card in half, and that's a nice basic card size. Okay, so that would just go like that, and that's my base card. Put that to one side. Then the other piece needs to be 8 2/8 by 5 3/4. So I'm going to cut it at 5 3/4 on the short side. Oh goodness me, that's such a sliver off. Just about 1/8 of an inch, I think. There you go. And I'm going to make sure that this is 8 2/8, exactly the same. It should be, but I'm just double checking, so that's the same. So this is the piece that I need to score because this is going on the inside. So this is the piece that's 5 3/4. So 8 2/8 along the top, and we are going to score it at 3 1/8. Okay, so make sure that cutting blade is right out the way because you'll just get so annoyed if you cut it instead of score it. 3 1/8, 4 1/8. So real simple, and then 5 1/8. Okay, and that is it. Okay, all your scoring is done for the inside of your card. Can you believe that? Oh. Okay. So you've got your piece with your 3 score lines. I'm not sure if you can see that because it's white. I'm going to fold it in half so the middle score line is folded. And just use my bone folder to make sure that that's a real nice firm crease. And then I'm going to fold it back on this score line. Okay, just like that. And then flip it over and do the same. Back that way. And just make sure that that's a really nice score line as well. And that, you should end up with that piece like that, okay? And that's the inside of our card. Now, it's up to you whether you decorate it and then stick it in. I quite like to decorate things individually because I can lay it flat and I can get hold of it a bit more. So we're going to do the 2 panels, which are going to be the inside of the card here. So it's the front and back panel here. Okay, now they need to be 3 inches by 5 5/8, and you need 2 of those. So have a quick look through your paper, decide which one you want. On the front of mine, I am going for this paper. So I need something that coordinates with that, but I don't want it to clash. So I'm going to turn mine over and, oh, I don't know, let's have a look. I quite like this one because it's still florally, but it's just one colour, so that will match in with the front. So let's move that out the back. So I'm going to use that on the inside, and I'm just going to cut those. So I needed 2 pieces that were 3 inches wide. So as this is a 6 by 6 sheet, I can get both out of one piece. 3 inches, and they need to be I've lost my train of thought. 5 5/8. God, my brain, literally menopausal brain, just completely went then. 5 5/8. So let's get that. Should we do 2 together? Okay, let's try this. So 5 5/8. Cut them. You could cut that first before you cut it in 3 inches, actually. That might have been easier. So they're my panels. Let's bring that back. Bring my inside back. So before I stick it down, I'm just going to have a look and check that I'm happy with the size. Yep, it goes nice with the white as well, basic white. Okay, let's, oh, that looks bad, covering up all those colours, but we can do this. Okay. Do you struggle like me to decide which side of the paper you want to see? The trouble is with Stampin' Up, they do such beautiful paper, honestly. You think, no, I don't need any more paper, and then you see how gorgeous it is. This paper is Regency Park, but one of my other favourites is By the Bay. Oh my goodness, I don't know if it's because I live by the sea and just the colours in that paper and the images, it's just such lovely paper. I feel almost like I need a pack of it just to leave on the side. Maybe just frame and never use. Okay, let's get that side done. So I've got my panels done on there, so I'm happy with those. That's the inside. Shall we stick that in first or shall we do the front? Let's do the front. So my inside is decorated. Right, the front of my card, on this one, what I did is I did a layer of navy and then the designer series paper, and I really like how that's framed that. This is some of the ribbon, Night of Navy ribbon that is in the new catalogue as well, and I really like that, so I think I'm going to use that the same. And these dies, because they've got a bit of flowers on, it's almost like job done. You don't need to do anything else. So I'm going to replicate the same on the front here, but I'm going to use this paper instead and just see what that looks like. So I need a navy blue piece first to frame this paper. Now this size is 3 7/8 by 5 5/8. And how I got that size was it's just enough of a frame all the way around my card. Okay, so that is my navy panel. Now this is going to go on the top of that, so it's 1/8 of an inch smaller. So it will be 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to attach the ribbon first. So what I do with that is I've got some double-sided tape. I'm just going to flip this over. Oh, that's quite a nice green as well, isn't it? Shaded spruce. I know that I want my ribbon down the bottom of my card. I'm just putting some double-sided tape either side. All will become clear in a minute. And I'm going to do a cheats bow because it's not really a bow. So I just get something that's fairly fat. This is a spritzer, and I just tie a knot round it like this. You can't get this wrong. Okay, so tie it really, really tight, slip it off, then on your piece of paper just roughly measure across where it's going to be. Have I brought some scissors through with me? Just about. They're not very sharp though. Okay. So I'm going to take the piece off so that I can get to the stickiness on both sides, and then being very careful not to put it down on my paper because I've done that before. I'm going to hold it across and wrap it round because the double-sided tape will stick that in place fairly tightly. I'm going to do that. And the same that side, and that leaves me with this little loop. Now when I put my die cut on there, I'm just going to cut that open and it'll be a real ta-da moment. So as it stands there, I need to stick that on my navy. So I'm just going to add some glue. You could add double-sided, just for time wise I'm just going to do some Tombow glue and hope that that keeps it in place. I do prefer Tombow to double-sided just because it's easier to reposition, and what I tend to do is look along one edge and just line that up rather than trying to line up the whole thing in one go. Just look along one edge here and then just smooth it out. So that's the front. Now I can stick that on the front quite happily, pleased that it's the right size. So I still haven't cut my bow open on the front, but that's okay. I don't need to at this moment in time. I can do all the extra titivating at the end. Okay, I'm just trying to get everything in place. So that's going to go on there, just in the middle of the front of my card. Ooh, looking good. I like that. That's a really nice paper. Oh, this Regency part paper is so lovely. So that's the front. Now the inside, how do I get the inside to stick? So this needs to go in here like that. And it's a bit, where do you even start? So what we're going to do is start on one side. So I'm going to put some glue all over one side. Careful not to put it on the scored and folded piece. Okay, again I'm using Tombow glue, but you could use double-sided. And I'm going to look along here and make sure there's a little bit of a frame all the way round. Bring that down like so, and then I'm going to bring my card over to meet it. I'm just going to smooth that over. Remember, I've only put glue on one side at this moment in time, and it's only at the front piece here. So I'm going to open that up. This side is floating free, and I'm going to flip it over to this side, and I'm going to put the glue on this side, and then I'm going to do exactly the same, and it will be in the perfect place. Okay, so that is going down there. I'm just going to hold that where there's no glue to get that over. Just hold that in place just for a sec. Just smooth it all over so that the Tombow glue is spread out. Now when I open it, it's perfect. But the other thing is, it also shuts closed. Because I glued it when it was in place like this, it will always shut. Okay, so now we just need to do these 3 panels. So how do we do those? So I have cut 3 pieces of navy card because I want a contrast. Okay, I want it to really pop out when I open the card. The size of those is 3 inches by 1 3/4. Now 2 of those are going to have some of this lovely paper on. Can you see how it coordinates with the background, but also with the front because it's got a bit of the balmy blue as well. 2 of these are going to have this designer series paper on, so I'm going to glue that on now because it's much easier to do it now. Oh, I like that. That's really nice paper with the blue on the back as well. Okay, so let's stick one of those on. Oh, I didn't check the size, did I? Oh, goodness me. Okay, is that one even right? Let's check. Yeah, that one's right. Why is the other one not right? So the card is 3 inches by 1 3/4, which means the designer series paper needs to be 1/8 of an inch smaller. So it needs to be 2 7/8 by 1 3, and one of mine isn't. There you go, it is now. So bring another one of those in. Do you think there's enough glue on there that it will stick? That was very lucky. Okay. Phew. Okay. So 2 have got that. 1 is going to have the sentiment on it, so I'm going to do that afterwards. Now, how do we stick these on? So the easiest way I found is get your card, line these up. Remember to put the DSP top and bottom. So that one's got nothing. This one's got DSP, so that's going to go there. And this one is the middle one. So what we do is have a look here. Try and evenly space them. Okay, like so. It doesn't have to be exact. This is a handmade card. It's not a production model. Okay, so that is there. Now the top and bottom you want to stick in place, and you know they're going to go on this side here. So I'm going to put some glue on there, and I'm going to put some glue on there. Okay, just like that. I'm just going to have a look. Is that lined up? There's no glue on the middle one. This goes over like so. Just press it slightly with your hand. Ta-da! Okay, so we're doing the same with this one. So it goes there, this is a little bit trickier because you want to have a look where it is. So I'm just turning this so you can see it on camera. So make sure it's where you want it in the middle, there. Okay, and then put some glue on here, on this piece. Or this is when the glue chooses the time not to come out when you squeeze it. Okay, and then bring it over. And again, press it down. And then have a look before it's stuck. Yep, all good. So that's in the right place. Okay, we're nearly done. So now all we need to do is the front sentiment and the back and the inside. So I've already die cut some of these shapes out. That's going to be my piece for the inside, and this is going to be my piece for the front. And I'm going to use the Sentimental Park stamp set. I'm going to have Let's Celebrate because I really like the curvy font on the front of that. Okay. And I like to put my stamps at an angle on my block, just because if I put them straight on, my eye follows the edge of the block, whereas if I put them at an angle, my eye just looks at the sentiment. Okay, this will look to you like I'm doing it a funny angle, but I'm trying to avoid knocking the camera. Okay, so I'm going to put that there. This says Let's Celebrate. I'm just going to put it straight in the middle like that. Okay, now the inside one, I'm going to put Happy Birthday Dear Friend. So I'm going to do the Dear Friend bit first, because that's the long bit. Again, I'm putting it at an angle, just tapping twice to get some ink. And I know that I'm going to put Happy Birthday Dear Friend, so I'm putting it ever so slightly down from the middle. Okay, so that's my dear friend. And then the Happy Birthday is in a much smaller font. That's the Happy Birthday. I'm just going to let that lie itself across. Happy Birthday. That's going to go there. And that's that sentiment done. So let's bring this back in. So on the inside, this one is going to go on here. So I'm just going to put some glue on the back. And I know that it just fits. So, oh, just about there. Like so. So that's my dear friend. And then the front one, this one, Let's Celebrate. I'm going to tuck the flowers behind there. And I'm just going to poke out the extra little flowers that haven't come out. I'm just going to use my scissors because my pick-me-up tool is in the other room. And I need some dimensionals. So I'm just going to put 3 on the back of there. It's got no weight, it doesn't really need that many, but I want it to stay stuck. Do you find these everywhere? I had one in my breakfast the other day. I was like, what is that? It was the backing off a dimensional. Okay, so that's that. And in my little pack of bits and pieces, there is some extra flowers that I've die cut, so I'm going to colour some of them. Now I've got blends, but actually with me here I've just got a stamping marker. So I'm going to do three different ones, and I'm just going to colour them. So where's my pen? Let's see what they come out like. So if I put it on the back of there and just rub over, it's sort of got an embossed pattern on the flower, so that actually lends itself because it looks detailed more than it would be. So there's one, and then there's another one, and if I do them all the same, they'll look like they've always meant to be like that. There's 2, and there's 3, Try not to get blue fingers as well. Might need a little bit of a gem or two as well. So let's put one there, and one here. So I think the bigger one can go there. The little one can go on there. And then where's the other one gone? No! Why does that happen? I've got two. Where's the other little one? Come back! There. Couldn't see for looking. Okay, there's the third one. That's going to go there. And then all that is left is to cut this ribbon. Let's get a different pair of scissors. So I just literally cut that across, and that opens like that, and it leaves a bit of curl on it, so it's like a cheats bow. And then we have, ta-da! Okay, that's the outside of our card, and that's the inside of our card. So a lovely triple panel card that's perfect for gifting. So if I bring this one in as well, I really like both of them. I'm not sure which one I like best. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for watching and sticking with me to the end. If you've liked what you've seen, I try and do a video once a week, so come and join me. If you subscribe and click on the bell, you'll be notified. If you love the products, please get in touch and shop with me at createdtheottaway.co.uk. Thanks for watching. Bye.